Today we are making the Mrs. Taft's Choice block, which is block number 8. We've pre-cut our fabrics and labeled them with our alphabetties. This block uses 14 half-square triangles. Today I'm going to show you how to make them using half-square triangle paper. We're going to need 8 squares of triangle paper. Cut directly on the line. It's very important to be accurate. We went ahead and we cut our fabrics 5 inches square instead of 4 3/8. The reason we did that is you will have plenty of room later to trim down your half square triangles. So now I'm going to show you how to stack your fabrics to get your half square triangles. First, we'll use one fabric A and the fabric C, right sides together. Place your paper in the center and pin twice. When you pin, you want to make sure your pin stays out of the center range because you will be stitching on the dotted line. Now we will take our stack to our sewing machine and we're going to stitch on the dotted line. Now we've stitched on the dotted line. You're going to repeat on your entire stack, and now I'm going to show you how to trim your paper. You want to trim all the way around the solid black line. We're using our scrap bucket to put our scraps in. You also want to cut on this solid center line. This one doesn't have to be as accurate because this is part of your seam allowance. Then we want to take our triangle paper off. Since we used a short stitch length, it should come off easily. Now let's iron our half square triangles. Just set your seam and then follow the pattern on the direction to press your half square triangle since each one is different. I'm going to finger press out and press down. And now trim your little ears off your blocks just using scissors. Continue ironing until you have all of your half square triangles pressed. And now we're going to lay out our half square triangles and our 2 fabric B squares to complete our block. We're going to chain piece down this row first. So we're going to put our pieces right sides together. And on this seam allowance, we're going to use a 1/4 inch seam. Now we're going to add the next row. Right sides together and pin. Now the great thing about chain piecing is your block stays together and you don't have to lay out your fabrics again and readjust. It's saved you a lot of time. So now we're going to press our block. We're going to press each row in opposite directions. We're going to press this row this direction, this direction, this direction, and this direction. That will make your seams nest. So we're going to do each square individually. We'll set the seam, press the direction it goes. Set the seam. We've pressed this direction, and now we're going to go this direction. So your block is still all together since we've got our chain pieces still intact. And now all we have to do is sew our final seams. Now let's press our block. So let's first set our seams and press in one direction. It does not matter which direction you press. When you're pressing here, try not to get into the seam on this side so you don't press that. I'm going to use non-flaking starch, and I'm going to do an all-over press of the block. You're going to take your center seam and align it with the line on your ruler. So it's lined up, and we're going to just trim. The goal is to just trim the final threads and slivers off, not to trim into your seam allowance. Do that on all four sides. And our block is done. Thanks for sewing with me today, and come back on September 1st for the Dove in the Window block. See you then!